Winnipeggers like to claim you because you were born here, even if you only lived here, I think 4 weeks before you moved east.
Might have been 3.5.
Might have been 3.5.
Yeah.
Do you feel in any sense Winnipeg-born?
Yes, I definitely do. I grew up, of course, both my parents were born in Winnipeg and went to school there and met there, and more important for me, I guess, became very involved in music in Winnipeg. And as we all know, Winnipeg is a very musical center of North America, and for reasons that I guess we can all figure out. Maybe there's not all that much else to do, but there's been just so much great music that comes out of the city, and people are really highly attuned to what's going on in all fields, in pop music and in classical music and new music and all these things. And yeah, the people love music. They're interested in it, and they're very well informed and educated about it. And so it makes for great audiences, and it makes for great musicians. And yeah, both I definitely inherited that from my parents.
Well, so I guess it's very natural that in a new music festival, which is featuring a lot of different composers, a lot of different kinds of new music, that you're a part of it. It's really great to have you a part of it.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled and happy, and especially, this New Music Festival is just an incredible festival. It would grace any city of the world. The talent that's there this year, or any year, but this year particularly, there's just some extraordinary music and just absolutely cutting edge and of the highest caliber from all over the world. So it's really something to be proud of, and Winnipeggers should really be thrilled that this is in their own city and something that's accessible to them. A quick car ride or taxi ride, bus ride, and they're right in the middle of it.
Right. Now, your work as a film composer is on a very firm Canadian foundation. All those scores for Adam Agoyan, also for Deepa Mehta, a lot of TV work as well. So, and yet at the same time, your music has always referenced other cultures. Do you feel in any sense a Canadian composer?
I would not be that kind of composer if I'd grown up anywhere else. I grew up in Southern Ontario, and I went to university in Toronto at a time when multiculturalism was really booming, and that's something that really became part of my music early on. And so I think that is a truly Canadian thing, aspect about the music that I've worked on through my career.
Now, Michael, the music that we're going to hear tomorrow night here in Winnipeg at Centennial Concert Hall is The Ice Storm, music from a 1997 movie by Ang Lee, The Ice Storm, which you wrote the music. How did you begin to approach writing the music for this movie? I mean, do you work from the script, from conversations with the director, from rushes? What do you do?
Well, this is the first film I worked on with Ang in the late 90s, and obviously we've worked together since on, most recently on Life of Pi. The Ice Storm is a real, it's kind of a somewhat unknown little gem. For those who haven't seen it, it's a really incredible piece of filmmaking, really capturing the spirit of a certain time in the 70s. And I read the book. It's taken from a novel, and I read the book early on, and Ang and I talked about the approach. But what we came up with was that rather than kind of doing a 70s influenced score, that we would come at the music in a very different way and contrast the way that we see people living and interacting in the 70s in suburban New York with other cultures, and we wanted to see that through the music. So we used a gamelan, an ensemble, a Balinese gamelan, a bunch of guys that actually I knew from the University of Toronto, and also a Native American flute player who also just gave this kind of atmosphere of other ways and other possibilities for societies and ways of living. And it's all done very subtly and kind of subconsciously, but I think it's something that's kind of a very interesting and effective marriage of image and music.
I think you said that in this music for the Ice Storm, you like the irony of suggesting music endemic to Native Americans to remind us that as the characters walk through the woods to their mud houses, the ground beneath their feet used to belong to civilizations that are long gone. And you also reference the power of nature. So all of that clearly in your head as you were working on this.
Definitely. Well, and you know, the wonderful thing about working with really smart directors like Ang Lee, you know, you're pushed to kind of think outside the typical and the kind of first layer, and to delve deeper and find parallel and perpendicular themes that resonate with the film and help people see the story from a different angle.
Right. Now, you mentioned The Life of Pi, that you wrote the music for that. You won an Oscar for Best Original Score, nominated also for Best Original Song. How has your life changed since that win?
You know, really, it hasn't changed at all. I've always been attracted to certain kinds of projects that make me think and make me think about music, and you know, I just continue to do that. So it's not like I'm about to jump onto the latest, you know, Marvel superhero movie. It's just not something I'm interested in. And I've had a great career, and I've done all kinds of things from animation and comedy and certainly lots of dark dramas, the Canadian specialty. And I'm just drawn to telling interesting stories and having the opportunity to interpret them in an interesting way in music. So it's been a thrilling year, but ultimately it doesn't really change anything except maybe, you know, being able to get a painter over to your house a little sooner
by dropping your name,
upgrading yourself on Air Canada by pulling the trophy out of your bag or something like that. Other than those, you know, fun but rather trivial things, it really hasn't made much difference.
Well, tomorrow night, your music here in Winnipeg is going to be front and center with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, Alexander Micklethwaite conducting, music for the Ice Storm. I guess perfect to hear that kind of wintry music when we're in the heart of the polar vortex here in Winnipeg. But it's going to be wonderful to hear your music and to be able to focus just on that, not on the visual images.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really thrilled about it, and wish I could be there. But hope the music warms you from the inside.
Thanks so much, Mychael. Good luck.
Pleasure. Thank you.